The year was 1981. Interest rates were big. Cell phones were big. Hairstyles were big. And one of the biggest programs airing on Japanese television was CBN's first animation series, Superbook. Although many are aware of Superbook's impact around the world, few people know why CBN produced Superbook in the first place. So let's take a familiar trip back in time with CBN's president, Michael Little, and Vice President Gordon Robertson, and hear that story.
Initially, we produced the Superbook series to take the Bible and the Bible stories to the Japanese people.
There was a whole ad campaign that was geared that Superbook was one component of.
We're very aggressive about this, hired an advertising agency which helped us repackage the Bible, not in black, but remember the first spot that we had was a white book that had kind of a blue band around it, and on the band was a character of a modern Japanese individual. Research that we conducted in Japan showed that we could talk to huge audiences with a quality animation program.
At that point in time in Japanese culture, anime was just first starting off, and Superbook is even considered one of the first animes that was ever done.
The top television programs in prime time in the rather sophisticated nation of Japan in the end of the 70s, start of the 80s, those programs were in animation. Programs, first of all, had to have the kind of creative quality and the high production values that made them compelling television.
The main difficulty was how to introduce two kids and a robot into a Bible story, and negotiating that from a script point of view, trying to stay true to the original story.
It happened in the land of the Middle East, and in that culture, that was 2,000 years old, and so there were a number of language, cultural, and era challenges. So we were able to identify some terrific partners who operated a Christian publishing house. A legendary missionary there, Ken McVitie, helped us largely to get the right kind of effect.
Once we got to the animation production process, a Japanese studio took it over and did a wonderful job and did it on time and within budget. Some of the directors who've become famous for anime cut their teeth on Superbook. I think the success is really, we can't take credit for it. The success is based on the Bible stories.
They held an audience. We were carrying an audience of like 8 million people every Tuesday night or so across the nation watching these programs, and highly rated among other programs as well. It became the third most popular animated program in Japan at the time.
It became enormously popular in Japan and introduced that whole culture to Bible stories that they hadn't heard. But in terms of the success rate, the Bible became a best-selling book in Japan during that whole campaign.
The Word of God stands on its own, and when presented in an appropriate and appealing way, it had power.
And I think that's the real reason Superbook has so much success, is it's relating spiritual truth and maintaining accuracy to that original story. And that gives it power. That gives it the ability to change lives.